Hello everyone, welcome to Genius Mathematics. In this video, we are going to be seeing about the ways to solve quadratic equations. Now let's get together. Now let's get the general form of a quadratic equation. This is the general form of a quadratic equation. Now let's start the different ways. First, we will have when b equals 0. Let's have an example. Let's say we have 2x square minus 3 equals 0. Here b is 0, that is the coefficient of x is 0. So the way to solve this is get the minus 3 to the other side. X square equals 3 by 2. X equals plus or minus, don't forget this, root 3 by 2. The other way of solving this is by formula method, that is get this 2x square into a 1 square, that is root x the whole square minus root 3 the whole square equals 0. Now this is of the form a square minus b square, which is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So solving this and this separately, we get x equals minus root 3 by 2 and root 3 by 2. These are the answers we got here. So these two are the same method. Now let's get to the next method. Now instead of being b equals 0, let's say we have c equals 0. That is, the constant term becomes 0. Let's get an example. Let's say x square plus 2x equals 0. Here the constant term is 0. That is, c is equal to 0. So the way of solving this is by factoring x. So we get x times x plus 2 equals 0. Solving these two separately, we get x equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. X equals minus 2. So the solutions of x are 0 and minus 2. This is the way of solving a quadratic equation that has constant term as 0. Now, what will be the solution when both b and c are 0? b equals c equals 0. Let's get an example. Let's say 3x square equals 0. So the answer for this is x equal to 0. Notice that this equation has only one solution, but the previous two equations had two solutions. And the another thing about quadratic equations is that this a, that is the coefficient of x square, can never be 0. So remember that. Now let's get to another method. We have seen three methods. That is when b equals 0, c equals 0 and b and c both become 0. Now let's see the fourth method, that is factorization. Let's get an example. Let's say we have equation like x square minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. The way we need to factorize this is, we need to get two numbers that we multiply to get 6, and if we add those two numbers, we should get minus 5. Notice this minus here, don't leave that. So if we multiply two numbers, we need to get 6. There are many ways. 6, 1, this is one set, 2, 3, this is another set, negative 6, negative 1, these are all kinds of sets. But what we are looking for is, if we add them, we should get minus 5. So the answer for this should be minus 3 and minus 2. These are the two numbers. If we multiply, we will get 6. And if we add, we will get minus 5. So we need to factor it like this. X square minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 equals 0. If we add these two, minus 2x and minus 3x, we will get minus 5x. So we need to get the common terms from here. X minus 2 minus 3 x minus 2 equals 0. So if we get x minus 2 as the common from these, we get x minus 2 times x minus 3 equals 0. From these equations, we need to get this separately. So x minus 2 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So the answers for x are x equals 2, 3. This is the way of factoring a quadratic equation. But the thing about this is, this equation should be factorizable. That's the only thing we need to do when we are seeing about factorization. Let's say another example of factorization that has, let's say 3x square plus 11x plus 8 equals 0. In this, we have the coefficient of x square not equal to 1. So what we need to do is multiply this with this. We get 24. And the coefficient of x is 11. So in this case, we multiply two numbers to get 24. If we add them, we should get 11. The numbers are 3 and 8. Since we multiplied this number with 3, we need to divide this number by 3 at the end. So the way of factoring this is x plus 3 by 3 is 1 and x plus 8 by 3 equals 0. If we multiply this, we will get this. So from this, x plus 1 equals 0, x plus 8 by 3 equals 0. So x equals minus 1, x equals minus 8 by 3. So the solutions for x are minus 8 by 3 and minus 1. This is another way of factorization. So the fourth way is factorization. Now we get to the more reliable ways. That is, we can use these methods for any quadratic equation. So the fifth method is completing the square method. So let's start with an example. Let's say we have a number like 3x square plus 4x minus 16 equals 0. The first step in completing the square method is we need to get the coefficient of x square as 1. So divide all these by 3. So we get x square plus 4 by 3x minus 16 by 3 equals 0. The next step is to get the constant term to the other side. So x square plus 4 by 3x equals 16 by 3. What we need to do is we need to divide the coefficient of x by 2. So if we do that, we will get 4 by 3 divided by 2 gives 2 by 3. We need to square this and add on both sides. So 2 by 3 the whole square plus 2 by 3 the whole square. So this is a perfect square. So we get x plus 2 by 3 the whole square equals 16 by 3 plus 4 by 9. We need to take LCM in this side. So multiply by 3. We get x plus 2 by 3 the whole square equals 48 plus 4 by 9, which we get 52 by 9. Taking square root on both sides, x plus 2 by 3 equals square root of 52 by square root of 9. So we get this 2 by 3 to the other side. So x becomes minus 2 by 3 plus root 52 by 3. Since root 9 is 3, don't forget the plus or minus here. This is a more reliable way since we can use this method to solve any quadratic equation. Now let's get to the next method. So the fifth method was completing the square method. The answer we got is x equals minus 2 plus or minus root 52 by 3. Now let's get the same question for another method. The sixth method is formula method. If the general form of quadratic equation is this, then the formula for solving it is minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So what we will do now is apply this formula. So x equals b. The equation we had earlier was 3x square plus 4x minus 16 equals 0. So this is the value of a, this is b, and this is c. So we apply this. X equals minus 4 plus or minus root 16 minus 4 times a is 3, c is minus 16 by 2a, that is 2 times 3 is 6. So x equals minus 4 plus or minus root 16 plus 16 times 3 is 48. 48 times 4 is 192 by 6. So x equals minus 4 plus or minus root 208 divided by 6. What we need to do is factor 208. 204, 252, 226, 230. So we get minus 4 plus or minus root 16 times 13 divided by 6. We get x equals minus 4 plus or minus 4, take this root 16 to the other side, 13 by 6. We get divide these two, so minus 2 plus or minus 2 root 13 by 3. This is the answer we got here. But the thing here is we got root 52. We can write this root 52 as root 4 times 13. So we get 2 root 13. So this and this gives the same answer. So the sixth method in solving a quadratic equation is formula method. Thank you.